Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on the anger of the Lord. And how the anger of the Lord is manifested in the form of these judgments that take place on the earth. So, Adawar Ratazah, you find this lesson edifying. So, starting it off, Psalm 7 and 11, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. And that's clear. Every day, people get into car crashes and get wounded or killed. Every day, people get stabbed, people get shot. Every day, there's fires where people get wounded or killed. Every day, the judgments of the Lord take place. And the end result is, destruction, people getting wounded, and people getting killed. And that's because the Heavenly Father, He is angry. See, there's a lot of people out here that think that they have free will and they can just do whatever they want. And unfortunately, the things that they want to do is wicked. They want to eat abominable foods that the Lord tells us not to eat. They want to partake in wicked sexual acts. They want to get tattoos. They want to do all sorts of just wicked things. Because we live in a society that doesn't punish people for doing these things. Meanwhile, if we were going by the scriptures, there's a lot of people out here that would have gotten put to death because of the wickedness that they're doing. And basically, that's what the Lord is doing. The Lord is putting these people to death. He may not put them to death automatically when they're doing the wickedness, but eventually all that wickedness that they're doing catches up to them. And that's why I'm constantly saying that when we see judgments take place upon people, just know that that person had been doing a lot of wickedness, building up a list of wicked things that they had done. And the Lord finally decided, hey, I've seen enough of your wickedness, and He sent His spirit of vengeance to execute judgment upon that person or upon those people, depending on how many were involved. Zephaniah 3 and 5 says, the just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth He bring His judgment to light. He faileth not. The unjust knoweth no shame. So every day you wake up, you check the news, there's judgment. Maybe a tornado swept through a town and killed some people. Maybe there was a massive car pileup on a highway and people got killed and wounded. Maybe there was a fire and a couple of people died. Every day, this is the judgment of the Lord taking place. Because He's angry. And rightfully so. Psalms 9 and 16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which He executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Hegayon Selah. That's right. So all the wicked things that these people are out here doing, eventually it does catch up to them. Eventually the Lord gets tired of seeing them do wickedness every day, and He passes judgment on them. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I am He, and there is no power with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And that's how it is. The Heavenly Father, through his spirits of vengeance, kills and wounds people every day. And there's nothing that anybody can do to stop those judgments from happening. You can't stop someone from getting shot, getting stabbed, getting into a car crash, getting wounded or killed in a fire. You can't stop a tornado from spawning and sweeping through a town. You can't stop any of it. You can't stop the judgments of the Lord from coming to fruition. These wicked people who anger the Lord on a daily basis have to be punished for that. They have to reap what they have sown. And that's what we see taking place on a daily basis. Ecclesiasticus 39:28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force, and appease the wrath of him, meaning the Heavenly Father, of him that made them. And that's what these spirits of vengeance are out here doing. And when you look up the definition of appease, it means to satisfy. So these spirits of vengeance go out according to the will of the Lord. They go out and they execute judgment upon the people that the Lord is angry with to appease his wrath. The Lord is angry, and when his spirits of vengeance execute his judgment upon those that he's angry with, it calms him down. It satisfies his wrath. Verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. So there is a death angel that was created for vengeance, to go out there and put people to death that the Lord is angry with. People get wounded and killed in fires. That's the judgment of the Lord right there. That's one of his spirits of vengeance, according to the scriptures. Hail, famine, these are spirits of vengeance. Verse 30, teeth of wild beasts. So when people get torn apart by a tiger, a lion, a bear, a dog, and scorpions, serpents, so people get bit by snakes, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. And the modern day sword is the gun, and people get shot all the time, every day, especially here in America. And it says punishing the wicked to destruction. So when people get shot, whether it's a drive-by shooting, a mass shooting, a school shooting, whatever type of shooting it is, and people die, whether it be men, women, children, that's the wicked getting punished to destruction. And people will be like, oh, well, when it comes to these children, what did they do? They're so young. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're not wicked. What people don't understand is reincarnation. The scriptures tell us that every third or fourth generation, we get brought back. So the Lord, when you come back, the Lord will judge you for what you did in the past life. So when somebody commits a school shooting, and these little kids get wiped out, that's judgment upon them. And I know that because a lot of people are carnal and not spiritual, they don't understand that. They can't wrap their head around that, but that's what it is. Romans 2:11, for there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. And that's right, the Heavenly Father does not care if you're a man, a woman, a child, a baby. He doesn't care, what your occupation is, a politician, a cop, a firefighter, a doctor, a lawyer. You could be a cashier. It doesn't matter. You could be a veterinarian, a truck driver, It doesn't matter. The Lord is no respecter of persons. If you're wicked, if you've been doing wickedness, and wickedness is according to, what the Lord deems to be wicked, and those things are in the scriptures, if you're doing those wicked things and the Lord decides he wants to judge you, then that's just what it is. The Lord doesn't care who you are. The Lord doesn't care who you think you are. If you're wicked, you're going to get punished accordingly. And the judgment is going to be however severe the Heavenly Father wants it to be. And this is why we're constantly saying, the men of the Lord are constantly saying to fear the Lord. Because when you fear the Lord, you're not going to be out here doing wickedness. Because you don't want that judgment to come upon you. You don't want those sore strokes. Proverbs 19:23, the fear of the Lord Yahweh tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. And that's right. If you're fearing the Lord, and to the best of your ability, you're following the law, statutes, and commandments, you're rehearsing the righteous acts, you're watching, you're reading, you're praying, you're fasting, you're being fervent and diligent in this faith, then the Lord, he's going to keep you safe. He's going to keep his angels encamped around about you to protect you. He's going to keep his hedge of protection over you. He's going to look out for you. But there's a lot of people out here who, they don't fear the Lord. They fear man. They're worried about what man can do unto them. The problem is, they don't understand that the Lord controls the actions of man. The scriptures tell us that a man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? So if the Lord is controlling the actions of man, then the Lord can decide whether somebody's going to stab you or shoot you or beat you up. But if you're doing what's pleasing in the sight of the Lord, if you're doing righteous things in the eyes of the Lord, he's not going to allow somebody to hurt you, because you're not doing anything to warrant getting hurt. And a lot of people, they don't understand that. They can't wrap their head around that. There's a lot of very simple-minded people out here whom the Lord, he's just not dealing with. And those simple-minded, carnal, wicked people are going to be the ones that these judgments come upon. They're the ones that are going to get torn apart by the teeth of wild beasts. They're the ones that are going to get wounded and killed in these fires and in these storms and tempests and in these earthquakes. They're the ones that are going to get wounded from the shootings and the stabbings and the car crashes and all of these heavy judgments. That's why brothers are constantly saying, when somebody does something against you, don't take matters into your own hands. Trust that the Heavenly Father is going to judge that person. And the judgment that the Lord is going to bring upon that person is going to be worse than anything that you as a mere human could do. Because the Most High has infinite power. He can have things happen to somebody that your brain couldn't even fathom. You couldn't even think up such a thing. That's why it's better to let the Lord handle it. A lot of people out here, they want to take matters into their own hands. It's like, no, let the Lord handle it. You just trust that the Lord, as long as you're doing what's pleasing in the sight of the Lord, just trust that he's going to protect you. He's going to protect you. He's going to defend you. He's going to avenge you. He's going to do all of these things. These wicked people out here, they think that they're getting away with their wickedness. But in reality, they're not. The Lord just has every judgment set for a specific time. That's all. So we have to continue to be patient. And while we're being patient and waiting for the Lord to bring his judgment upon our enemies, we got to be in this truth. watching and reading and, being brotherly and sisterly towards each other and being circumspect and all of that. We're in the last days, Now is not the time to get yourself caught up and thrown in jail or something because you decided to get carnal. No, remain spiritual. Somebody does you wrong, send up prayers to the Lord and ask him to handle it. And in due time, he will handle it. See, the Lord will put you in certain situations to see what you're going to do. Are you going to take matters into your own hands, or are you going to trust that he's going to handle it? Are you going to be carnal, or are you going to be spiritual? And if you're spiritual and you move in a spiritual manner, then the Lord is going to be pleased with you, and he's going to take care of that situation for you. It may not happen right then and there, but that's why we have to be patient. Because the Lord, he's going to do what he says he's going to do. It may not happen when we want it to happen, but that's because the Heavenly Father moves on his own time. He does what he wants when he wants to do it, not when we want him to do it. Because if the Lord moved according to what we wanted, we would have been up out of here. We'd be in the kingdom already. But that's not how it works. We have to be patient. We have to suffer. And when the Lord sees you being patient and suffering patiently and enduring, he's going to take care of everything. And so many brothers and sisters have multiple testimonials of that, myself included. So when we see people get judged in whatever manner the Lord chose to judge them, we have to remember that person was wicked, and the Lord punished them in that particular fashion. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't random. It wasn't senseless violence or whatever. No, that was the judgment of the Lord being executed upon a wicked person or upon wicked people who angered him. Plain and simple. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the water Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to all the sincere believers. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. And Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.